Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is the Captain's Quarters Show. I am your host, El Milliner, the Captain. Thank you all for hopping aboard with me for another video. In this one, I am discussing Enrique Tarrio, who was the former chairman and leader of the Proud Boys, getting sentenced to 22 years in prison by Judge Timothy Kelly. Now, first off, Timothy Kelly was nominated to be the level judge that he is by then President Donald Trump in 2017. Just a little tidbit of information. Now, let's get into the specifics of what the Proud Boys are. The Proud Boys were started in 2016 by Gavin McInnes. It started off as just like basically a frat, guys who get together, party, drink, have a good time. All right. Now, since that time, Enrique Tarrio became the chairman, and they pretty much continued the whole party routine. All right, but they were more politically, I guess, driven, you could say. So they would show up to different rallies or different events. Sometimes they would be counter protesters to like LGBT events or BLM events, that type of thing. Now, in regard to the specific case of January the 6th, right? Because that's where this case stemmed from. January 6th, 2021, at the Capitol, they were allegedly some of the main players in storming the Capitol, becoming, it becoming an insurrection. Now, let's talk about the sentencing that was handed down. So we all know Enrique Tarrio got 22 years. All right. Now the prosecutor in the case said that Enrique Tarrio had the toxic ability to control others. Um, he said that they targeted our entire system of government. All right. Now, along with Enrique Tarrio getting sentenced, also Kelly sentenced Ethan Nordine to 18 years, Joseph Biggs to 17 years, Zachary Real to 15 years, and Dominique Pizzola to 10 years. All right. Now, what did they do to receive these sentences? Well, all those guys except for one, being Dominique Pizzola, they were all sentenced to seditious conspiracy. Right. So, what does that mean? So, according to Cornell Law School, if two or more persons in any state or territory or in any place subject to the jurisdiction of the United States conspire to overthrow, put down, or to destroy by force the government of the United States, or to levy war against them, or to oppose by force the authority thereof, or by force to prevent, hinder, or delay the execution of any law in the United States, or by force to seize, take, or possess any property of the United States contrary to the authority thereof, they shall each be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 20 years or both. So basically, what they did was, now I'm going to pull up this article, and this is from CNN. Let me blow it up so you guys can read it better. I'm going to go down here to the bottom because it tells you what they did right here. I'm going to highlight it for you a little bit. Biggs and Nordine, who assumed leadership in Tarrio's absence, led the charge at the Capitol, prosecutors said. The Proud Boys were at the front of the mob, breaking past barriers and the police line and smashing windows to let rioters inside the historic building in the first breaches that eventually led to Congress evacuating and temporarily halting the certification of the 2020 presidential election results. So, breaking and entering, smashing some windows, and they got 18 years, 17, 15, 22 years. Well, one guy, the guy that got 22 years wasn't even there. All right. Now, I want to pull up this video and show you where Enrique Tarrio did an interview with Tim Pool on Timcast, right? Months ago. All right. Let me pull this up for you. And I want to let him talk about kind of like what led up to this case. Here we go. Let's listen in.
So the very next day on my podcast live,
and yes, this is Enrique Tarrio, right? The Proud Boys have been called a white supremacist group. Clearly, this man is not a white man. All right, if I'm not mistaken, he's Cuban. So, yeah, let's not do the white supremacist thing, right? Every group that's right wing or conservative is not like some kind of white supremacy thing, right? That ain't even a real thing in the first place. But anyway, let's listen to what he has to say.
I admitted to burning that banner. And also on my parlor, I admitted to burning it. There was a warrant out for my arrest shortly after that. I knew going into DC that I'd be arrested. I knew it. That's why.
All right. So he's talking about burning a banner. Now, back in December, before January came along, he burned a BLM flag and a warrant was issued for his arrest. That's what he's talking about right here, right now.
Flew January 4th because DC is a no bail state. I'd be let out on January 5th, and then I can go watch the president speak. At that time, obviously, remember, we didn't know that the Capitol was going to be breached or anything like that. We just wanted to have a good time and see the president speak and get trashed like we usually do. Mm-hmm. So I flew into DC. My number one mistake is I sell magazines, laser engraved magazines on my website, and I did bring 2 empty magazines, not pistols like a lot of people have accused me of. I get arrested. They didn't know about the magazines. I have a simple under $500 misdemeanor destruction of property. I leave DCA, Ronald Reagan, and they wait till they were following me the moment that I got out of the gate of the airport. And
after you landed?
After I landed.
Now, I want to add this real quick. There was a little bit of chatter, or maybe a lot of chatter, about Enrique being a federal informant, right? A confidential informant where he's like a mole to the conservative movement. And, you know, he was being used to get intel about different things. And I heard these rumbles, right? Whispers or whatever, whatnot. But I didn't agree with it or disagree with it or anything, right? But I did watch this whole interview right here, and I listened to what he had to say. I mean, made sense to me. But I will say, all the way getting to now, him getting sentenced to 22 years. I don't know how many federal informants get 22 years for not being somewhere where barriers were knocked over, windows were broken, some police got pushed. Like, you know, I'm not familiar with any federal informants getting 22 years for that. Just saying, right? So anyway, let's keep listening.
Where did you land?
In DCA.
Oh, okay.
In Reagan.
Back.
And I got in an Uber and I was driving into DC, and I mean, they came to get me like I was Noriega for a misdemeanor. Again, they didn't know anything about the magazines, even though the magazines by themselves aren't really dangerous. They had a whole SRT team, ARs pointing at the Uber. There was a news camera. The crazy part about this, and I swear to you, there's a news camera, full-size news camera, pointing at this everything that was going on. I haven't seen that footage yet, but
was it CNN or?
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know. I don't doubt it's CNN because you saw the Stone story when they came to get Stone. CNN was magically in the corner of his house. He lives on a dead end street, by the way, at that time.
Yep. So leave that there. But I will link everything in the description so you can go back and watch that interview It was very informative. Now I want to add a little bit of more of commentary to this. Now, this January 6th situation was like such a big deal, and you know, people, I guess, died as a result of it, but they weren't directly killed or murdered there at the scene, right? By this group, Proud Boys, or any other person, right? Ashley Babbitt was the only person that got murdered that day, and she got murdered by Capitol Police. So it's just, it's just weird. This is being made to be polarized, for the country to look at us and just see the right wing being, the bad guys, right? But in 2020, there were just riots and people getting murdered for real. And it's just, where's the equal treatment? It's so insane to me. But look, man, I want to say all the guys and girls who, it's like over 1,000 of them that have been arrested from January 6th. And just, man, prayers for y'all. Hope you all can find freedom one day. And who knows, if we get, the right person in office, a lot of people get pardoned. That could be a reality, right? So let's just hope for that, man. I hope that you all stay grounded and make it out of the situation. But anyway, I'll leave it there. Thank you all for watching. If you will, leave me a like, comment, let me know what you think about this whole situation, the whole insurrection. These gentlemen getting 15, 18, 22 years in prison for not harming anyone, putting anybody in the hospital, killing, murdering anyone. Let me know about what you think about this situation. Share the video with a friend, and of course, hit that subscribe. Thank y'all for hopping aboard with the captain. This was the Captain's Quarters Show. I was your host, L. Milliner, the captain. Until next time, I am gone.